Start your week with a triple shot of good vibes. This is the Project Joy podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. Thanks for joining me. And now it's time for this week's story of joy. I'm so excited to be back with you guys today. I know I mentioned on last week's show just the absolute craziness that has been going on in the world, and I hope that this podcast continues to find you in good health, in good spirits, and with peace in your heart, because I think that that's the thing that we all need to lean into right now, is just hanging on to what brings us peace, what brings us joy, and that's how we can spread that to other people and really stay grounded when things around us may feel very topsy-turvy. For this week's story of joy, I want to talk about something really simple, because sometimes it's those simple things that we need to grab onto, and it's this lovely background that I have on the show now for when I do video versions of the show. Now, if you're listening to this on podcast, you're going to be like, listen, lady, I can't see what you're talking about. I have a new screen that goes behind me when I do video versions of my show. And the main reason I got this is because when we moved houses and we downsized the size of our home, and I don't have an office like I used to anymore. So I had to kind of create an office space in my house. And so I got this screen that goes behind me because I have been recording all month long episodes of my other talk show, The Breakthrough Show, which is coming back on April 3rd. And I'm super excited about that. And I needed something that could help me really define my space. And what I've come to realize about myself is that I love the look of it. I love how it's simple. I love how it's clean looking. But it's a new thing for me because, I typically like things kind of bohemian, a little mishmashed, and I don't mind when things are all over the place. I'm really not a stickler. I am not a Virgo, people. I'm an Aquarius. I'm not a stickler. I'm more of like I care more about the energy of things and how you feel rather than typically how things look. But what I'm learning about myself, and maybe it's as I'm getting older, maybe some of the way my grandmother has rubbed off on me, and thinking about her a lot in the book that I'm writing. But I'm starting to like that when things are simplistic. I'm starting to enjoy when things look clean and neat and beautiful. I think a lot of people like when things look good, but like I just was not as, I suppose, stuck on that as other people that I know are. And so I think it's fun that I'm enjoying something that I didn't expect to enjoy. I'm enjoying that things look beautiful. I'm enjoying when things are simple, and it's cool when you realize that if you just open your mind to things being different than what they normally are, that you might actually like it. It might actually serve you better. And I know that my guest today is going to definitely appreciate this sentiment. So we'll be back in just a minute for more of the Project Joy podcast. If you love these stories of joy, you will love the incredible stories of life-changing moments from inspiring guests on my program, The Breakthrough Show. Save the date because season 4 premieres on Friday, April 3rd, 2020. So be sure you're following us at facebook.com/breakthrough show or click the link in the show notes. And now back to the podcast. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Project Joy podcast with your host, Jessica Dugas. Today is episode 13, and we are back for the third installment of our Joy in Stories series, where I invite a friend onto the show to ask them what brings them joy in their life. So far, we've heard from Erin Fisher, we've heard from Shoshana Chaim, and today we have my friend and the world's best declutter coach, Heather Clark, is on the show with me today. Everybody, please welcome Miss Heather.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much for having me on this. And
Abs-
I love this podcast. Like literally every Monday morning, it's the first podcast that I listen to because listen, Monday morning blues are a thing. I need that upbeat little joy. Yeah, I love
yeah.
it. So
I
thank
love
you.
it. Thank you. Because I mean, it really like, there's so many podcasts out there that people can be listening to,
Mhm.
and you have one as
I
well.
do. I
And
do.
and I think that there's a lot of great things in podcasts. We can listen for a lot of different reasons, but I haven't come across like a super short podcast yet that's like just a story and then you go about your day, and it's not
Yep.
like it's not a serious like we're going to learn and we're going to take notes and we're going to no, we don't have to do all that. This is easy peasy.
Easy peasy, lemon
Easy
squeezy, right?
peasy. Yeah, that's right. So tell us, Heather, what is something that brings you joy in your life?
So when you first asked me to come on to the show, it was I thought about that and I was like, okay, what does bring me joy? And as much as it's like, oh, the birds chirping, the nature and stuff. I was like, no, you know what actually brings me joy? Saying no.
Mm.
And I know that sounds weird, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, that just sounds so negative, but it's not
Mhm.
if you think about it, because saying no to certain things. So, saying no to cluttering up your life, saying no to, doing engagements that you don't feel that you want to do, saying no to whatever, that brings me joy because it's bringing me closer to me and what and honoring me and what I want and who I am. So, yeah, I like joy in saying no.
And saying no, and that's a different thing for people, and I think it's something that we may not see joy in at the very beginning or in the
Mhm.
early parts of our lives. Like we think that we have to get in all the things, and it's good if we say yes. And I think that as I get older, I'm seeing the joy in saying no too. And it's also, I was talking with someone else about um as your notoriety increases, that because we were talking about guests on shows and things like that, and how eventually, you get to a place where you're so busy and you're sought after and you just don't have time to say yes to everything. So I think even seeing that joy in, my calendar is full and I'm able to say yes to things that are really meaningful to me, right? Like there's joy there.
Yeah, and there's also joy in knowing like your non-negotiables too.
Mm.
Like what are you willing to do? Like, so you say your calendar's full and stuff like that, so therefore what are you going to do if you have somebody that you really 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 want, they reach out
Mm.
to you, they're like on the thing, and it's like, as much as you're like, I want to do that like tomorrow or today, it's like, no, let's schedule it in for this day, because you have that joy in knowing that your schedule is where it is. But if you had said yes, let's do it tomorrow, and you know you're stressed out or you're tired or whatever, and then now it's like, okay, so there's joy in that no, knowing that your non-negotiables are, no, my first priority is me, and
Right.
then I need to go forward into other things and say no. And just because it says you say no now doesn't mean you're saying no forever.
Mm.
And that's, I think people put such a like I said when I first started, like a negative thought on that.
Mm.
So just because you say no, you know what, I don't want to go out tonight, I want to stay in, which I'm not even going to talk about what's going on right now in the worldwide, but anyways, um, but it's saying no to going out because you don't feel like you're mentally not there, you're emotionally not there. It's okay because you're saying yes to you.
Right. Right. And I mean, when we give an answer to someone, it's so finite. It feels finite. Like if we're saying yes or no, I think that's why so many people are stuck in like maybes and saying, well, I'll just say maybe because I don't want to commit and I don't want the other person to feel bad or whatever the reason is. But there's something freeing about giving a finite answer. And we have to sort of, I guess, release that fear a little bit of the, if we say yes to something, that doesn't mean that it's a forever yes. That means it's yes
Mhm.
right now. And the same goes for no. Like you said, like if we say no right now, that doesn't mean it's a no forever. It just means I'm just not in the place to say yes.
Exactly. And it's okay. That's the thing. That's the joy in it. To be okay with the decision. You made
Mm.
a decision. Not making a decision is still a decision.
Right.
But
Right.
being able to say and having that joy in just being like, yes, I am confident in this choice.
Mm.
Yes or no, I am confident.
I know you work with people a lot on physical clutter. And do you think that this process of saying no and simultaneously finding the joy in saying no is really important to that physical decluttering process?
Oh, absolutely. Like, because now you're understanding, what are you saying yes to?
Mm.
You're understanding when you say no to, let's say, the physical part, um, you're saying no to an item. Therefore, you're saying yes to this item that means more to you, and that you give that one value, because, two things can't take up the same space.
Right. Right.
So, yeah. So
Yeah.
saying no to the physical stuff is saying yes to closer to what you actually want in your life.
Mm. Yeah, I mean that's a great way to look at it. Yeah, as well for people that where no is scary and they're not able to like that. I don't see any joy in saying no. That could be scary for them and saying, but when you say no, you're saying yes to other things. So if we can just flip that mindset a little bit, maybe more people would find the joy in it.
Yeah. See, find the joy in no.
Find the
Talk to me.
joy.
Send me a message. I'll let you find the joy in no. Trust me, because it's fun.
Heather will help you find the joy in no. I want to talk really quickly because you're a mom, and a
Yes.
lot of times as a mom, we have to say no to kids,
Often.
and often, I will admit that that has not been an easy thing for me because I never wanted to be like you know the hard ass parent of being like no you can't do that ever I just never wanted to be that, so it's been hard for me at times to say no to them. But as you're talking about this and saying no to things yourself, like it's creating that boundaries. It's the same thing with kids, right?
Yep. And you're teaching them that it's okay to say no to things.
Mm.
Like with my son, like, so we even have, like, with both my kids, actually, more so my son, because he's getting to that age. He's 11, getting to that age of, mom, don't hug me in front of my friends, kind of deal, whatever.
No.
Well, he still has, like, so as much as, yes, I didn't like the fact that he's like, no, you know what, mom, it's okay, whatever. I'm like, okay, great. So it's respecting that no,
Mm.
that, he's like, he's getting that age. It's kind of getting that. But again, it's teaching them that it's okay to say no, and to have that other person respect that no as
Mm.
well. And
Yeah.
finding the joy in it. It's like, okay, yes, he said that. And yes, I may have had a personal moment of, oh, he's growing up. But it was the joy in the fact that he had the confidence to say no to his own mama.
Right.
And knowing that he could say that and not be, not make me angry about it. Like, I was like,
Right.
okay, cool, great, awesome. Cried a little when I, was driving home. No,
No, that's a great, I mean, it's a great segue into my last question for you. And that's that, it's easy for us to say no. I think it's easier for us to say no than it is for us to hear no when
Mhm.
we really want something in our lives and we put ourselves out there. It may have been hard for us to ask whatever question and then we get no back. Like what's, have you been able to find joy in receiving a no as well?
Oh yeah. Like, okay, so let's talk business wise
Mm.
alone. So I have reached, I've reached out to
We
people.
already know.
No, but I have reached out to people and received those no's
Yeah.
in expectations of getting those no's.
Mm.
So for me, in the joy of the no's is, okay, how many no's can I get? Because I know I'm getting closer to that yes that the universe is going to provide me. So
Mm.
yes, I may have started here and I get no, 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 no. And then all of a sudden I get yes, and I just keep going. And I'm like, oh wait, you said yes.
Yeah.
And it becomes a habit, and you don't take it so personally, especially with anyone that's an online business
Mm-hmm.
owner, any business actually that you have, getting those no's. It's okay. Find the joy in that no. Find the joy in that no, and going, okay, you gave me no, so I'm going to go to the next person. You gave me no, keep going and keep going. Like, how many people do we know that, was said no in book publishing, and they just kept going, kept going, kept going. And then all of a sudden now they're like #1
Right.
bestsellers and everything like that, millions of copies sold and everything like that, because they got comfortable and they found maybe at the beginning they didn't find the joy, but by the end they're like, no, I know this has to happen. Nope, I know this has to happen. So they started finding the joy in that no and going, okay. And then when they finally got that yes, they're like, bingo, because they
Right.
felt it in their heart that yes. this is the yes I need.
Right.
So
Absolutely. So we've been talking about today finding the joy in saying no and finding the joy in receiving no as well. And I think that it's a great thing, and it's very outside of the box, something to find joy in. So
outside the box, I don't do that.
I know. So thank you so much, Heather, for
Thank
joining
you.
me today. I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you as well.
All right. We'll be back in just a minute with more Project Joy podcast. What's up, everybody? It's Jessica here from the Project Joy podcast, and I'm here today to tell you about something that has been completely life-changing for me. Are you tired of trying to get stuff done by yourself? Do you need accountability? Are you ready to finally, not just talk about it, but do it, declutter your space physically, mentally, emotionally to live the best possible life you are here to live? Then you, my friend, need the BYOC, or Bring Your Own Clutter membership. This membership is run by my friend Heather Clark, and it has been life-changing for me. You need this. You need this in 2020. Join us. Go to declutterforchange.com. And now back to the podcast. Next week on the Project Joy podcast, I'm so excited, you guys, because one of my favorite things in life is laughing. I love comedy movies. I love comics in general. I'm really lucky that I have a cousin, which some of you may have seen on my breakthrough show, Jim Spinato, that is a comedian. And I just think that, especially if nothing, with everything that has gone on in the world recently, in the start of 2020, that we could definitely use a little more laughter. So that's what we're talking about next week, is joy in laughter. It's going to be a super fun episode that you don't want to miss. So until then, please take a moment to rate, subscribe, comment, and share where available. And until next time, make joy a priority in your life today and every day. I'll see you next week. You've been listening to the Project Joy podcast with your host, Jessica Dugas. We'll see you again next Monday and every Monday for another episode to start your week off right.